Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everybody, welcome back to this video. My name is Aishah Alam. I am the founder of a nonprofit organization based in New York called The Strangest Poets Inc. I almost forgot to mention the name. And we serve Muslim writers, and we have a department called the Woke Woman Department, and we're going to be launching our first group coaching program, drum roll, called The Right Hood. But inshallah, we can talk about that later. But first, in this video, I want to talk a little bit about something that we writers struggle with so much, and those are the writing blocks, specifically the critic. And I left that very vague, the word the critic, because there are many different types of critics. There's two types actually we're going to be commenting on and talking about and really exploring a little bit in this video and the next video, and that is the inner critic and the outer critic. Like I said, in this video, we're just going to be exploring one part of that, which is the inner critic. And I also want to say that we're not here to completely eliminate the inner critic. We're just here to become aware of it. And I'll explain why it's important not to completely eliminate our inner critic very shortly, inshallah. But I'm gonna give you a tip on how we can work with our inner critic or handle our inner critic in a way which makes us more productive and makes us more inspired, or at least harness that inspiration a little bit more effectively. And I'm going to begin with a question that I really, really want you to think about. And this question is something I will think about also. And the question is, have you ever sat in front of your computer and gotten, or your paper, pen and paper, and you have been so inspired to write about something, but as soon as you sit there, everything just goes blank. You just blank. You're sitting there, you're looking at your computer, blank screen, the words are not coming out, or the words have come out, and they are just not here right now. Now, in that space, what tends to happen when the words don't come to us, other words come to us, and these are words that we begin to say to ourselves. This, what I'm talking about, is the inner critic. And these words are normally in the form of thoughts, and they are very negative. And some of these might be things like, you're wasting your time. What's the point in doing this? Look, you woke up super early and you're sitting here and you can't even think of words. How can you call yourself a writer? Who's going to read your book anyway, right? And these are just a few of the thoughts that might come to our mind. And what I want you to do is to grab your pen, grab your paper, and also maybe your phone or your computer, whatever you want to write on. And I want you to write a list of these negative thoughts that you feel, that you think about, not feel, sorry, but you think about. And with no judgment, just write everything on a list, okay? I've written 3 things down on this list. One of them is imposter syndrome. Another one is also, I'm not going to say, I'd rather not say, but they're not great. So I've also drawn a circle around these thoughts, and hopefully as I'm speaking, you're writing these thoughts down, you're thinking about them. Or if I'm speaking too much, just pause the video and just write down your thoughts, the negative thoughts that come to you when you think about writing your book. Okay. Now, hopefully you should have a list of these negative thoughts. And what I want you to do now is going to sound very strange. Maybe we are the strangers. It's going to sound strange. And I want you to give a name to these thoughts, okay? And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. So when I look at the thoughts that I've written down, the negative words, the inner critic, the name that I've given to them is Layla. If you follow me on Instagram, then you've probably seen a whole post about Layla. And if you are Layla and you're watching this video, then Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You have a beautiful name, and I'm sure you are a beautiful soul. But I chose to give this name because Layla to me means the night. And it's not that I hate these thoughts, but I have become aware of it. That's the purpose. You don't want to hate these thoughts. You want to become aware of them. And the reason why this is so powerful is because when we name our dark thoughts, what happens is they no longer become hidden in the shadow or the crevices of our mind, kind of like coming up every so often and then kind of stinging us and provoking us and making us feel self-defeated and making us feel even worse than we already feel. But what happens is they become conscious. We bring them out of that hidden part of us. And what that does is it empowers us to recognize these thoughts by giving them a name. And it also weakens their effect on us, first of all, and it also makes us more objective in how we view these thoughts. And sometimes there is truth to the thoughts, and sometimes there is no truth at all. And that's the important thing, to be able to recognize when there is some advice being given to us within ourselves, that feeling in our hearts that there's something uneasy when we're doing something that might go against our authentic self, our morals in Islam, and then when to recognize when it's something that is more maybe stress related or trauma related, but the purpose is to become objective in recognizing these thoughts, recognizing your Layla. And the reason why I said, the lid of my pen just fell off, but the reason why I said to not completely eliminate these negative thoughts, and the purpose of being here right now isn't to do that. The reason why I said that is because, there's been brain studies done that the place where these thoughts arise from in our brain also has so many other functions within our brain. And there was an amazing TED talk actually by a lady who had a stroke, and she was talking about her experience of, after having the stroke, she was unable to hear that negative voice in her head, the inner critic, her Layla, right? And she felt this sense of immense peace, right? But as time went on, she found that her organization skills were non-existent. She was forgetting things much more often. And she realized that, oh my gosh, that there's so much more to this than I understand. And that's the point, that sometimes something might seem like it's hurting us, but there is so much wisdom to why it is there in the first place. And our place isn't to eliminate that, but to have control of ourselves and not be swayed by that, right? Instead of, and to be swayed by that, what that looks like is that feeling of self-defeat, that feeling of hopelessness, that feeling like, I can never write a book, so what's the point in even trying? We don't want to get to that place, right? We don't want them thoughts to put us in that place. So what we hopefully did today was look at our list, name our thoughts, and observe them and analyze them. And that's the next step, inshallah. So now you have your thoughts, you have the name. And now the next thing, inshallah, before the next video, is to analyze these thoughts and think about, where are they coming from? Why do I think like this? And it might be because of something you were told as a child constantly. What's the point in doing something like this when you could be doing something like this? There's no money in doing something like this. You'll never make a career out of it. What's the point in trying? Passion, who needs passion, right? All of these things. So inshallah, I hope this video was useful. And next time we're going to be talking about the second writing book, which is the outer critic, the dreaded outer critic. And I hope you can join me then, inshallah. And if you have any comments, you don't have to share your negative thoughts with me. I'm not asking you to do that, but definitely be aware of them. But if you have any questions for me in regards to anything about the upcoming coaching program that we're going to be having very soon, inshallah, called the Right Hood, for Muslim women writers just like you, who want support, who want to fly, and who want people to fly with you, then inshallah, please do DM me. All the details are below. You can also comment, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for being here with me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.